Good morning, students. In my previous video I discussed about privatization. What is privatization and why what are the need for privatization in India, and Navratnas, many Ratnas. Today I am going to discuss about gains and loss, or positive and negative aspect of privatization. Gains means what is positive, and negative means here losses of privatization. Today I will discuss on this topic, gains and losses of privatization. First I will discuss gains. What are the benefits of privatization in our country? As you know, students, privatization implies supremacy of self interest. Main motive of privatization is self interest or profit making rather than social interest. The main motive of privatization or privatization implies supremacy of self interest. When self interest prevails, the entrepreneurs work with 100% commitment. When self interest is there, then entrepreneurs or investors, producers work with 100% commitment and efficiency because their main motive is self interest and wanted to earn more and more profit. 100% commitment and efficiency becomes the condition of survival for the workers. High productivity, of course, this leads to where all the employee are efficient in their work. They work with 100% commitment. This leads to high productivity. Students, now you must have understand that what is the first positive aspect or gains of privatization. That privatization implies supremacy of self interest. Privatization or private sector work for self interest, and the profit earning is their main motive. And for self interest and the motive of earning more and more profit, work with 100% commitment and efficiently become the condition of survival for the workers. And if there is 100% commitment and efficiency, then this leads to high productivity. The first positive aspect of privatization. Now second one is privatization expect private enterprises to work in a competitive environment. Privatization expects private enterprises to work in a competitive environment, both domestic and as well as international. Because of competition induces upgradation and modernization. We can write this way, that leads to upgradation and modernization. and these are essential conditions for growth and development. For growth and development, upgradation and modernization of industries or enterprises is very necessary, and privatization expects private enterprises to work in a competitive environment, both domestic as well as internationally, and that leads to upgradation of modernization because of competition in international level and domestic level, and this competition give chance to improve their quality, that leads to upgradation and modernization, and these two things are essential condition for growth and development. Next is privatization promotes diversification of production. Privatization promotes diversification of production. Diversification of production. Students, unlike public sector undertakings, private enterprises generate high profits. These are used for if they generate high profit, these profit they can use in for expansion and diversification of production. You can see multinational, for example, multinational companies, because they earn huge amount of profit, so they are capable of diversify, and there is a huge expansion of multinational companies. Their companies are more than one countries, and they are also able to diversify their product. So these are also the merit of, we can say these are the merits of privatization. So privatization promote diversification of production. Next is privatization promotes, that is very important point, privatization promotes consumers' sovereignty. What does it mean? That can be asked question in the fill in the blanks, like privatization promotes what? Consumer sovereignty. How can we say that? Higher degree of consumer sovereignty implies wider choices and better quality of life. Consumer sovereignty leads to wider choices. We consumer have lots of choices in the market, and that leads to better quality of life. Privatization helps generate perfect competition in the market, and through this consumers get wider choices of goods and services, and that leads to better quality of life. So these are the gains and positive aspect of privatization. Again I am repeating it, that is privatization implies supremacy of self-interest, and to attain self-interest works with the employee work with entrepreneurs, work with 100% commitment, and efficiency become the condition of survival for the workers. That leads to high productivity and the high these are the essential conditions for growth and development. Now next, privatization expects enterprises to work in a competitive environment, both domestic as well as international. Competition induce upgradation and modernization. Next is privatization promotes diversification of productions. Unlike PSU, public sector undertaking, private enterprises generate high profit. These profits are used for expansion and diversification of production. uh, for example, MNC, multinational corporation, are able to diversify and expand their operations, and we can say that a testimony to the fact that private sector enterprises are capable of redefining the benchmark of growth. Next is privatization promotes consumer sovereignty. How come? Like higher degree of consumer sovereignty implies wider choice and better quality of life. These are the positive aspect of privatization. Student losses or negative aspect of privatization. As you know, student, socialistic pattern of society, socialistic pattern of society means society leads to or work for social interest. How socialistic society work for social interest, that I already discussed in my previous video. The main aim of socialistic pattern of society is to social welfare or work for social interest. And in privatization, by the process of privatization, this theory only survive on we can say that it is the theoretical possibility, and is left to survive only as theoretical possibility, that means will remain in only theory. It loses its practical relevance. It loses, because of privatization, it loses its practical relevance. Practical relevance if once all the PSUs are sold off to the private enterprises. If all the private public sector undertakings or public sector will be sold to the private sector, then socialistic pattern of society will remain only and theory. There it loses its practical relevance. So this is one with the first losses of privatization. How come socialist we can explain it with this way also. The other point I will discuss how privatization leads to the society. Like privatization encourage the free play of market forces, but in the process of privatization, goods are produced only for those who have the means to buy them. The person who is have purchasing power is able to buy the goods. When prices rise, weaker section of society suffer deprivation. One of the problem with privatization is privatization encourages the free flow of market forces, means price is determined of any goods according to the demand and supply of the economy. If suppose price rises, what will happen? Price rises, weaker section of the society suffer deprivation. Weaker section of the society suffer deprivation. One of the biggest negative aspect of privatization is the price of goods is determined by the free play of market forces. If the price rises, its impact basically on the weaker section of the society. And in privatization, goods is produced according to the demand of the economy. So these are the negative aspect or losses of the privatization. Now student, what is I already discussed what is privatization, why the need of privatization, what is the positive and negative aspect of privatization. Next topic of in new economic policy is that is globalization. Globalization. What is globalization, and what is the positive and negative aspect of globalization? Now student, globalization. What is globalization? Globalization means or can be defined as a process associated with increasing openness, growing economic interdependence, and deepening economic integration in the world economy. That is the definition of globalization. Globalization again defined as a process associated with increasing openness, growing economic interdependence, and deepening economic integration in the world economy. Means we can define is this way also. Globalization means integrating economy of the country with the economy of other countries under condition of free flow of trade and capital across border. Before 1991, India has a closed economy, but after new economic policy, various reforms taken by the government, as I discussed, that three components of new economic policy, that is privatization, liberalization, that I already discussed. Today I am discussing that is globalization. So what is globalization? Globalization means integrating the economy of a country. Means integrating, if we talk in terms of our country, then integrating our economy with the economies of other country or rest of the world under the condition of free flow of trade and capital across borders. Condition, what is the condition of globalization? That is free flow of trade. Free flow of trade means there will be no restrictions by any country whoever signed the GATT or General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, and those the country which are following the principles of LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So free flow of trade and capital across borders. Free flow of, that is a trade and capital across border. That is the condition of globalization. Again I am repeating, globalization means, simple definition of globalization means integrating the economy of a country with the economies of other country under condition of free flow of trade and capital across borders. Economic reforms in our country, economics reforms aim at integrating the Indian economy with the global economy. In economic reforms that is taken by new economic reforms, in which the aim is integrating the Indian economy with the global economy. As a result of globalization, there will be unrestricted flow of goods and services, technology, expertise between India and the rest of the world. unrestricted flow or free flow of trade and capital across borders, or we can say unrestricted flow of goods and services, technology, expertise between India and rest of the world. Now, particularly it is expected that capital and technology will flow from developed countries. We can write here also that it is expected that capital and technology will flow from developed country to developed countries of the world towards India. So with the globalization, it is expected that capital and technology will flow from developed country of the world towards India. So this is globalization. So student, in my next class, I will discuss about policy strategies. What are the policies and strategies promoted globalization in Indian economy? Thank you.